Hey everybody, this is Eli here, and I just want to share with you a couple insights, couple things I was thinking about that I wanted to share with you as I was consuming some content, some information, some audiobooks, a lot of YouTube videos today, and I just want to share with you this concept that if you've been around self-development for a while, it's not a new concept, but today I think I'm going to be able to add a little bit of a different twist on it that might be able to help you, or at least I know it's going to help somebody that you know. And the statement is this: it's something you've heard before. It's the quality of our life, the quality of your life comes down to the quality of your communication. And let me just start by where do I even begin with this? The quality of your life is the quality of your communication. And it comes down to two ways. It's really a twofold statement. One is how you communicate with yourself, and the other is how you communicate with others. And if you go to Tony Robbins, there's all this stuff about emotional mastery and body language, all this stuff that goes into the body and the physicality. But today, I specifically want to talk about what is considered the smallest part, the words, the 7% of communication. Which I don't know if that's true, because words are pretty important, especially if you're on the radio, if you're on the telephone. Words are very, very important. And to kind of go back to the telephone, I have a couple stories I want to share with you, and a couple tips that I think will be able to help you out. I met a girl while I was going to school at University of Maryland that I liked a lot. I was crazy about this girl, and we were together for quite some time. And not only was it just I thought she was pretty, not only was she smart, not only was she great, but I admired her and I respected her and I cared about her. And there was parts of me that I saw her as almost like a mentor in some ways. She was a little bit older than me and just was much further along, emotionally mature in her career. Just somebody that I really wanted to emulate in my life. And one night we were talking on the phone, and I was telling her a story about my day. And in this story, I probably rambled on for 5, maybe 10 minutes. It was a long story. And at the end of the story, I just heard silence on the phone. And I go, "Are you there?" I just hear silence. And then finally she chimes in and says, "Eli, you sound like an idiot." I was just counting the amount of ums, likes, and you knows you keep saying over and over again. You sound like an idiot. It's like, felt my heart sink down to the bottom of my knees. I was like, oh, but she didn't say it to be mean. She said it because she cared, and she really knew. I mean, she worked in the White House, and she knew that in order to really make it in your life, you have to be able to communicate your ideas, your thoughts, your emotions. And I listen to these people today on YouTube and on Facebook, and people blast out all these videos, and they're saying like and like they don't sound clear in their communication, and it does affect the way people think of you. And I'd like to think that we're all non-judgmental, but today you can see these videos online that are 5 minutes. You're like, oh, that's too long. And then there's one that's 30 seconds. Okay, I'll watch that one, because we're all in such a rush these days. And so if somebody in their first 1 minute has said 15 times, you kind of tune them out a little bit, and you're most likely not going to engage with that person again. And it's even worse in person. Or if somebody's giving a public presentation, they're even more distracting, because these are just filler words that kind of take away from your message. They distract people from your message, from you, from the connection, and it distracts you from your ultimate outcome. And for some people, it's because of fear, they're nervous, but sometimes it's just bad habits. And I think that if people became more aware of their communication, they could become more powerful in their communication, and the quality of their life would improve because of their communication with others. Because part of your success in life, whether you like it or not, is tied to others, unless you live in a cave somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. And that's not you. You wouldn't be watching this. So if you know somebody that has some of those bad habits right there, please share this with them and let them know that maybe they don't sound like an idiot, but in order for them to advance in their life, they need to advance in their communication. And these filler words just kill people's communication. And the other story I want to tell with you really quick is in the same vein. Should probably make this a different video, but I don't like making them short. And it's basically this: when I got to Los Angeles, I got out here, I got a job in sales, selling dental products over the phone. And going back to that quote again, the quality of your life is the quality of your communication. I was selling stuff over the phone to people, and sometimes they couldn't understand me, because I wasn't enunciating certain words. And I would say something and they say, huh, what, whatever. And I noticed that it was directly affecting my income because people weren't buying. And I sounded really nice and I sounded like a sweet kid on the phone, but I wasn't clear and I wasn't able to ask the kind of engaging questions that I had scripted out in a way that was going to impact them to really think about their answer because they were just thinking about what the heck did I say. So it was completely messing up the whole game plan. So what I did every single day on the way to work, and you can do this in your car, but I did it. I drove a motorcycle back and forth to work every day. And actually, here's what I would do. I would take a pen or pencil in my mouth like this, and I would say the alphabet, or I would say affirmations. I would say things over and over again. And I got this idea listening to that song by Peter Gabriel, Big Time. My mouth's getting to. He's like, I'll be stretching my mouth to make those big words come right out. I've had enough. I'm getting out to the city. I'll make a big noise with all the big boys. So anyway, I was thinking about how do I stretch my mouth, and I would imagine these big words, and I'd create these affirmations with words like courageousness and perseverance, words that were a lot of syllables. And I would say these big words out of my mouth over and over again, forcing myself to enunciate, and I would open myself up. And every single day, for at least 2-3 days a week, actually, not every day, I would drive from work up into the mountains of Malibu, Santa Monica Mountains, and I would literally imagine we hold so much tension here as human beings. It's like all of our tension is right in the front of our body, and I have a lot of tension in my mouth. When I was a little kid, I had a big gap right there in my teeth, and I didn't really like my teeth at all, and I ended up getting braces, so I worked on it, but I still had this habit of not fully opening my mouth. And so I would take a book and I would hike up to the top of the mountain. I'd get something really difficult to read for me, like Shakespeare or something that was just more a higher education level than I was used to reading. And so I would go up there, I would scoop up a word or phrase, and I would pretend I would see voice as visual. Author Joseph, I went to an audio program with his a long time ago. He has this amazing, amazing quote, and I want you to think about it. I think it's the best quote I've ever heard in communication. He said, if the eyes are the windows to the soul, if the eyes are the windows to the soul, well, then the voice is that window opened up. When you open your mouth, you let people know about where you're from based on your accent. You let people know your education level, your communication style, about what kind of words you use, how educated you are, how articulate you are. It says a lot about you. And so I really wanted to release all this tension. I felt myself tight in here, and I still get that way all the time. So I still to this day, I do these exercises where I try to open myself up. And I release. But I would go up there, and I do it today on the beach. But I would go out there, I would climb up a mountain, and my heart would be beating out of my chest, and I would take one word, and I would scoop it up, and I would see voice as visual. I would imagine a word. I would imagine a phrase, a sentence. I would scoop up the phrase, and I would get it, and I'd say it, and I would send it over the mountain. I would open up my mouth, and I would see voice as visual. The words shooting out of my mouth, and I would watch them land on different mountains. And it really opened me up, and it gave me a sense that my words were communicating with the world on beyond the level of just communicating with myself or one person or an entire city. But literally, I could feel my words wrapping around the community, wrapping around the world, and coming back to me. And it really gave me this sense of vocal power. And so that's basically what I share with you today. I don't want this video to be too long. I wanted to share with you some tips that I see people constantly doing in their YouTube videos. And I know a lot of you guys are trying to market yourself or promote things, sell products, or just trying to be funny. And I think that it would help you out a lot if you worked on enunciating. And these are my problems that I had. And these are the exercises that helped me. Maybe they can help you. So one, it's articulating. And you can use a pen. Doing exercises to open yourself up. Screaming, actually is very, very cathartic, very, very releasing. And then just becoming really aware of the words like, and any filler words that you might be tending to use. That's it. I hope this has served you or somebody else that you know. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and I hope to talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.